We are teeing up Remembrance Day services in Saskatchewan throughout the show. So let's turn our attention to what's happening in Regina.
Good morning. We are down at the Legion here in Regina today. Tomorrow is Remembrance Day, and in honor of that, I've got Parade Marshal Henry here with me now. Henry, talk to us a little bit about what Remembrance Day signifies.
Well, Remembrance Day is a day set aside, or a week actually, for the Legion set aside to remember or to pay tribute to the people who have fallen in war and who are suffering from bringing back the after effects of war. And it's just to keep it fresh in people's mind as to what it's all about.
Absolutely. And how have you seen these moments and events evolve and grow over the years?
I'm not sure they evolved and grew. I think they're sometimes getting a little smaller, but there's a lot of them. We go to a lot of schools and a lot of seniors' residences with the Color Party and participate in these services, and everybody is eager to do it. The thing about is the further you get away from having been in a war, the less people come out and participate. So it's heartening to see that usually we get several hundred at the Cenotaph in Victoria Park, and we get several thousand at the Brant Centre. So it's heartening to see that happen.
All right, and in hopes of maybe getting some more people out there, especially this year, what events is the Legion holding, and how can people be a part of them?
The Legion basically sponsors the two main services. One is at the traditional one is at the Victoria Park Cenotaph, and it's on Tuesday, tomorrow at 10:30 it starts, and the same thing at the Brant Centre. People should be arriving there after 9 o'clock to be seated by 10. The parade kicks off at 10:30, but there's things happening before that too. So it takes about an hour in each location.
All right, Henry, thank you so much. Make sure you're coming on out tomorrow for Remembrance Day. We're going to be back in the next hour.
Remembrance Day services are being held across Saskatchewan tomorrow, and here's a bit of what you can expect in the south.
All right, we're coming back to you down here at the Legion in Regina this time around. I have President Reid here with us. Now, Reid, tell me a little bit about the Legion and what it does.
So the Royal Canadian Legion in Regina has been around since 1926. Our 100th anniversary is next year, so that's going to be fun. It's going to be a big party. But our main thing is we support, as my Parade Marshal Henry, past president, pointed out, is our main goal is to support veterans, RCMP members, and their families. And it's just whether through funding or being a safe space, because we have a buddy check coffee program, being a safe space for them to come on down and just talk, or funding things, small things like hearing aids, which are not cheap anymore, to bigger projects like the River Valley Retreat. We fund that. That's a partnership program. They help with PTSD and mental health issues. And then we fund things like the Moose Jaw Family Resource Center and the Dundurn Family Resource Center, that is for active serving members of the military who need a little assistance or just a place to take their family and have some fun. So that's kind of what we do. It's about funding, direct funding, or assistance funding. We also help veterans receive service dogs, or just general funds to help them grow. And that's what the Poppy campaign's about, helping serve veterans directly. It's one of the charities that is, you fund us, it's direct funds straight back into our community or in communities across our province. That's where the money goes. It stays here in Saskatchewan.
Wow, so an incredible initiative here and some amazing partnerships. Now, if somebody's maybe interested in being a part of this or the Legion in general, how do they go about doing that?
So they can come on down to the branch and they can sign up to be a member. It's as little as $65, or they can go online too. So if it's not just our branch, but if they're, say, don't feel like comfortable coming on down because we're only open from 10 to 2 Monday to Friday, they can do it online. And then they still have to be sworn in. They still got to come to a meeting, and then the biggest thing when they're sworn in, they got to get railed into doing the Poppy campaign or one of our many other fundraisers that we do over the year. So, and it's kind of a fun little way to get people to do things while also making them a part of the branch.
All right, well, some great information. Thank you so much, Reid. That wraps things up for us at the moment, but of course, we'll be back one more time next hour. Good morning. We are finishing things up down here at the Legion in Regina, but before we do that, we've got a little bit more information to pass along to you. So I've got Henry and I've got Reid back with me here. Now, Reid, let's start off with a little bit on Cadets and that program.
So one of our main things is the cadet programs. We use them, or they use us as volunteers for a lot of their duties. But we also fund them with bursaries to help fund their programs, to help fund their, daily activities. And usually the amount right now is $3,000, and it goes a long way. So, and that helps pay for a lot of their programs over the course of the year. It's not everything, but it's a little help. And then they help volunteer for, the Remembrance Day services tomorrow. They do a lot of work for us, so it's kind of our way of giving back to them. We also do bursaries for not just the cadets, but for members, active serving members and their families, and veterans' families, kids who are going to university or college, whichever one. We fund them as well through a bursary, and we usually do, I can't remember, maybe 5 or 6 per year, of each. And then we usually try and give one to each of the military units in the city if they come to us. we sometimes have some issues getting them on board, and sometimes they forget, but they do eventually get one. So it's a way to give back to them and make sure that, hey, you're going to school, we'll help you with that. So,
incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, another great initiative.
Yeah.
And now, Henry, let's talk a little bit about tomorrow's event, because you're hoping to bring out some more veterans.
Yes, I'm kind of hoping that we'll get enough veterans at the Brant Center, for example, that can march with the veterans troop. In past, we've had a little trouble getting them to come down out of the stands. They just want to stay up there and watch. But it would be kind of nice, because at the beginning of the service, we bring them down as a formed troop to get recognition from the crowd. And they get quite a hearty applause at the beginning, and they stand there for O Canada, and then they get to sit again. Like everybody else has to stand, they get to sit. So it's kind of good to have them down there. We'd just like to get out a few more of them out of the stands.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you both so much for this morning. Make sure you're coming on out on Remembrance Day to honor and remember.